Hey guys, good morning everybody. Good morning and welcome to the lecture number 2 of Anatomy in Flowering Plants, Botany module. And today we are going to discuss about the type of tissues, complex permanent tissue, mainly about xylem and phloem. The two terms that we have planned to discuss today is a familiar term for each one of you, right? Yes, for NEET 2022 and NEET 2023 batch students, we are going to come up with lecture number 2. Yesterday, my voice was having a little issue, so we were not able to take the class yesterday. But I hope you all might have written yesterday's test paper about the pre-NEET test series on living world as well. So today we are going to study the second lecture of Anatomy of Flowering Plants. Those who attended and watched the last class, you might know in the last class we studied about the type of tissues. There are two main types of tissues, permanent tissue and meristematic tissue. We listened to all the aspects related with the meristematic tissue in the last class itself. And today we are going to study about the complex permanent tissue. In the last class we studied also about the simple permanent tissue also. That is parenchyma, collenchyma and sclerenchyma, which are made up of only a single type of cells. Here we are going to study about xylem, phloem, which are the complex permanent tissue. Those who are watching the session right now, don't forget to hit the like button, to share the video to your friends and subscribe the amazing platform for more updates on biology. This was a homework. In the last class, I asked you about what are the different components that make up the xylem and the phloem. These are two answers which I got that day itself, that is the day before yesterday itself. But there are 2 to 3 more comments or the answers which are actually held for review. I haven't get it approved because the slides were already prepared and made ready. So I haven't got into the YouTube studio to just get it approved. So only 2 comments right now. Xylem consists of 4 main components: xylem vessels, xylem fibers, xylem parenchyma and tracheids. Phloem consists of sieve tube elements, companion cells, phloem parenchyma and phloem fibers. These are very important things which we will discuss about each of them structures in detail in today's lecture. So let's get into the complex permanent tissue. What is actually simple permanent tissue? Simple permanent tissue means those tissues which are made up of only a single type of tissue. Here we are going to study about the complex permanent tissue. They are made up of more than one type of cells. In the last class, you guys have told that to me itself, that is complex permanent tissues are those kinds of tissue which are made up of more than one type of cell, which will work together as a unit. Clear? And this complex permanent tissue are of two types. That is, number one is a xylem, number two is the phloem. So xylem and phloem are made up of different types of components, and that is why they are known as the complex permanent tissue. Let's first of all have a look at the structure known as the xylem. Xylem functions as the conducting tissue of water. Xylem functions as the conducting tissue of water and minerals from roots to the stem of the plant along the leaves also. Yes, Calvin, good morning. So what is xylem? Xylem is the conducting tissue for water and minerals that transports the necessary amount of water and minerals from the root to the stem and the leaf of the plant. It also provides mechanical strength to the plant parts. Okay, the xylem provides mechanical strength to the plant parts. As you have already seen, 2 of our students have just got it commented in the comment section. There are 4 kinds of elements in the xylem. Number one, it is the tracheids. Number two, it is the vessels. 3, xylem fibers, and 4, xylem parenchyma. So just repeat it along with me: tracheids, vessels, fibers, and xylem parenchyma. Clear? Just give me thumbs up on the chat box if the topics are clear for everybody. Just about the brief idea about what is xylem. Next, in the next upcoming slides, we will be studying about what do these 4 structures help in. or how are they helping the plants? Okay, so xylem is mainly concerned with the conducting tissue of water and minerals. It also provides mechanical strength. You have to study about the four main components, among which firstly we are going to have a detailed idea about the tracheids. Okay, about the tracheids. Tracheids are elongated tube-like dead cells. Important point. Tracheids are elongated dead cells with thick and lignified wall with tapering ends. Is this clear? Tracheids are dead, elongated cells with thick and lignified wall and tapering end. Their protoplasm is absent. So why is the protoplasm absent? Because it is not a living, it is a dead one. What is protoplasm? Protoplasm is the physical basis of a cell or physical basis of life. In the chapter cell you might have studied. What is referred to as the physical basis of life? It is protoplasm. So since the protoplasm is absent, they are dead. The inner layers of the cell wall have thickenings in the various forms, and xylem as a whole, although we call it as a water conducting tissue, the main two components that help in the transport of water are the tracheids and the vessel. You must study all the 4 points that have been mentioned in the slide. They are the main water transporting system. Done, everybody? Clear? So repeat the points along with me. Tracheids are elongated tube-like dead cells, thick and lignified wall with tapering ends. Protoplasm is absent. The inner cell layers have thickenings in various forms, and tracheids and vessels are the main water transporting elements. Clear? Focus on each and every diagram of the NCRT. Okay, each and every diagram of the NCRT must be given importance. Clear? Coming on to the vessel. Vessel is a long cylindrical tube-like structure. Vessel is a long cylindrical tube-like structure. Each cell have lignified wall and large central cavity. So protoplasm is absent. Just coming down, what is meant by protoplasm is absent? So it have been mentioned in the slide itself, the protoplasm is absent. Just tell me whether xylem vessel is living or dead. Just comment me whether xylem vessel is living or dead. Just tell me. I'm not receiving any comments. What happened? Am I audible to everybody? So protoplasm being absent, vessels are again what? Dead. Okay. So just tell me why you are not understanding the topics clearly. Protoplasm is absent. That means the vessels are dead elements. Vessel members are interconnected through perforation. They are interconnected through perforations. And vessel is a characteristic property of angiosperms, whereas gymnosperms lack vessel. So this point must be given importance. You can expect a question. Okay, you can expect an MCQ from this part. Very important point. Okay, don't just give or take it very silly. So vessel is actually the characteristic property of angiosperm, whereas gymnosperm lack vessel. Okay, so what are the two elements that we studied? The main water transporting system, tracheids and vessel. Tracheids are the main water transporting elements. Tracheids and vessels are the main transporting elements. Tracheids and vessels are what? Both are dead tissues. Clear? Next, about the third component, that is about the xylem fibers. You don't have to pay too much attention towards xylem fibers and xylem parenchyma, but just have to study all the points that have been given in over here in the slide and also in the NCRT as well. Clear? Tracheids and vessels are very important. Coming on to the phloem, sieve tube elements and companion cells are again very important there. Xylem fibers have highly thickened wall and obliterated central lumens. They may be septate or aseptate. What is it? They may be septate or aseptate. Look, what do you mean by septate and what do you mean by aseptate? Maybe like all the nucleus will be filled in like in a single one. There is no septum in between. Like in a single layer, there will be more than one type of nuclei. But in certain cells, you will find that suppose it's a nucleus, then there would be a separation. Then again a nucleus, then the separation. So if a septum, so this is known as septum. In your heart also you will find, right? In your heart also you will find. If you draw a heart like this, and this central portion which separates the artery, that is the auricles and the ventricles, left and right side, you will call there also as the septum. So same meaning over here also, separation. Okay. So they can be either septate or they can be aseptate. Clear? Next, coming on to the xylem parenchyma. Here you have to study one more important points. They are also dead. They are also what? They are also dead. Next is xylem parenchyma is the only living component which make up the xylem. It's the only living components which make up the xylem, and it is a thin-walled cell with cellulosic cell wall. All others were thick-walled. Xylem parenchyma is a thin-walled cell. They store food materials like starch or fat and substances like tannins. Very important point is what I'm going to mark next. Radial conduction of water takes place by the ray parenchymatous cell. This is a previous year NEET MCQ question. Okay, this is a previous year NEET MCQ question. So just you must pay attention towards this. Is that clear for everybody? Just give me thumbs up on the chat box, everyone. So how is the radial conduction of water taking place? By the ray parenchymatous cell. By the ray parenchymatous cell. Clear? So let me take out a blank slide in order to explain the idea for you. So xylem, right everybody? Xylem is mainly composed of, one second. We know that xylem consists of four main components. Right now we have studied that. What were the components? Just tell me one by one on the chat box. First one was tracheids. Second one is the vessels. Third one is the xylem fibers. And last one was xylem parenchyma. Clear? Tracheids, vessels, and fibers are dead components of xylem, whereas xylem parenchyma is the only living one. This is what we have studied at a glance right now. Tracheids and vessels are the main water transport system or water conducting tissues, water conducting elements of xylem. Done? I have included all the points that we have studied over here in a single slide. So right now we have to just move on with the further divisions of these xylem. So xylem can be primary xylem, okay? Primary xylem can be divided into two types. What do you mean by xylem? They can be again divided into two, that is about the protoxylem and the metaxylem. There are a lot of terms which you must by heart in this chapter. So what are the two terms? Protoxylem and metaxylem. Protoxylem means it's the first formed primary xylem. What is protoxylem? First formed primary xylem. Okay. First formed primary xylem is referred to as the protoxylem. Later formed primary xylem is known as the metaxylem. So guys, just like for a parent, two babies are born. The first baby will be called as a proto. The second one will be called as the meta. Exactly like that. The first formed primary xylem is the proto, and the later formed primary xylem will be called as a meta. Just understand that. Proto is the elder one, meta is the younger one. Clear? We must understand where can you see this proto and meta. That will be useful for you in the upcoming classes. Okay, just learn these 2 points are very important. Okay, these 2 points are very important, so just pay attention. In the stems, protoxylem lies towards the center and metaxylem lies towards the periphery. What is it? Protoxylem lies towards the center and metaxylem lies towards the periphery. Just guys, just listen over here. This is a vascular tissue. Okay, vascular tissue. In case of a stem, look, I'm drawing a stem over here. Okay, a stem, that is a protoxylem and metaxylem. In case of stem, the protoxylem will be held towards the center. This green color what I am drawing indicates the protoxylem. Okay, not drawing in a perfectionist way, just making you understand with the concept. The yellow color which I am drawing is the meta. Okay, the larger one will be the meta. I hope the diagram can be clear for everybody. So guys, in case of the stem, the protoxylem will be towards the center and the metaxylem will be along the periphery. Clear? I'll zoom the diagram which I have drawn for each one of you. Just give me thumbs up on the chat box if the concept of protoxylem and metaxylem is perfectly fine for everybody. In case of the stem, protoxylem is towards the interior, metaxylem towards the outward. Whereas when you come into the case of root, protoxylem lies towards the periphery and metaxylem lies towards the center. When the same diagram will be reproduced as a structure of root, what happens is like metaxylem will be towards the center and the protoxylem. One second. Protoxylem will be towards the, okay, yes guys, can you all hear me back? Yes. So that is actually the case with the protoxylem and the metaxylem arrangement. In stem, what is the condition that you will see? In the stem, you will see an endark condition, whereas in the roots, you will see an exarch condition. What do you mean by endark condition? Endark means proton xylem towards the center, protoxylem towards the inside, that is endark. Whereas in the root, the protoxylem is away. So you will call it exarch. Just study those two terms. Okay. Protoxylem towards the center, endarch. Protoxylem away from the center, exarch. Protoxylem towards the center, endarch in case of the stem. Protoxylem away from the center, roots, that is the exarch condition. You must study these 2 points because in the evening class we must feel this useful. Okay, there I won't tell you. In the evening class at 8:30, I won't tell you like protoxylem lying towards the center is endark in case of the stem, and in the exarch condition you will see protoxylem away and all. I'll just tell in case of stem it will be endark, and in case of the root it will be exarch. Guys, just imagine for your exam they are giving you a 4 or 5 characteristic property. Okay, there are different variety of characteristic for monocot root, monocot stem, monocot leaf, dicot leaf, all those things, and stem as well. So at that time, when you see a term like endark xylem, then suddenly your answer will be limited. From the 6 options, your answer will be limited to 2. Either it is a monocot stem or it is a dicot stem. Your answer will be limited to 2. If you see among the 6 options, suppose in the question paper you will see, for the following slide you will observe an exarch primary xylem. Your answer will be limited to either monocot or dicot root. Okay, so similarly we will find out how to find it is a monocot or a dicot in the upcoming one as well. Okay, coming on to the phloem. Phloem is composed of sieve tube elements, companion cells, phloem parenchyma, and phloem fibers. What are the things? Sieve tube elements, companion cells, phloem parenchyma, and phloem fibers. It transports food materials from the leaf to the other parts. It transports food materials from leaf to the other plants. Gymnosperms have albuminous cells and sieve cells. They don't have sieve tube elements or companion cells. They lack sieve tube elements. They lack companion cells. Clear, everybody? Is this clear? Yes, perfecto. Next, first we are going to study about the sieve tube elements. Okay, we are going to study about the sieve tube elements. Coming on to the structure of, okay, coming on to the structure of sieve tube elements, there we will discuss about sieve tube elements are long tube-like structure. They are long tube-like structure which are arranged longitudinally and associated with companion cells. Their end walls are perforated to form the sieve plates. Look, suppose this is a structure, their end plates are perforated like this. Perforations will be there in order to form a structure called sieve plates. Okay. A mature sieve tube element has a peripheral cytoplasm and a large vacuole but lacks a nucleus. Guys, I know this chapter is a quite boring chapter. Every plant chapter is quite boring, I know, for everybody, but definitely we have to study that. Definitely we have to study botany part as well because botany is now a separate topic for your biology. Okay, so by reading this topic 2 or 3 times, you will get to know about these terms. For those who are hearing this for the first time, for those who have already studied these topic like droppers and repeaters, you might know about this topic and you feel a bit comfortable because there are no new words introduced before you. But for the freshers, there are a wide variety of new terms like protoxylem, metaxylem, entarch, exarch, everything. Okay, so just keep reading the chapter. This is yet another important point which I have to introduce before everybody. Functions of sieve tubes are controlled by the nucleus of the companion cell. Previous year MCQ. Functions of sieve tube elements are controlled by the nucleus of the companion cells. As we have already told you, the first formed xylem was the protoxylem. So the first formed phloem is what? Protophlloem. Clear? Which consists of narrow sieve tube elements. The later formed phloem is known as metaphlloem and have big sieve tubes. And the main function of phloem is the conduction of food materials from the leaf. Clear? So we studied about the protoxylem and metaxylem. Here we studied about the protophlloem and the metaphlloem as well. Functions of sieve tube elements are controlled by the companion cells. So just have a look at the companion cells. What are companion cells? They are specialized parenchymatous cells which are associated with the sieve tube elements. Okay, their main function is to maintain the pressure gradient in the sieve tube. Okay, the main function of the companion cell is to maintain the pressure gradient in the sieve tube. The above phloem diagram is there mentioned in the NCERT, so you must pay attention towards this diagram. This diagram is very important diagram which can be asked for the exam. Identify each and every labelings given on the screen. Apart from this, in order to identify, we have included this diagram as well. I will post the PDF of the session in the Telegram group as well. So you will have a sieve tube element. You will have a companion cell in order to control the pressure gradient in the sieve tubes. You will have a phloem parenchyma and about the phloem fibers as well. You will see over there. Clear? Phloem parenchyma is made up of elongated tapering cylindrical cells having dense cytoplasm and nucleus. The cell wall is made up of cellulose and it has pits with plasmodesmatal connection exists. What is plasmodesmate? It is a connection between the cell wall. I hope you remember this. I'm not sure. Just connection. Like this, another one also will be just like this. So this connection you will call them as what? The plasmodesmata. Okay. Phloem parenchyma is absent in most of the monocots. It stores food materials and other substances like resin, latex, and mucilage. Coming on to the phloem fibers or bast fibers, they are found in the secondary phloem. So what is the function of the secondary phloem? Helps in increasing the width of the plant or that help in the secondary growth only. They are generally absent in the primary phloem. Made up of sclerenchymatous cell. Made up of sclerenchymatous cells. At maturity, these fibers lose protoplasm and become dead. So guys, in case of xylem, all the first three elements were dead and xylem parenchyma was the only living one. In case of phloem, all the above are living and only phloem fiber is the dead one. And the phloem fibers of jute, flax, and hemp have commercial uses. They help in providing mechanical support and protection to the soft tissue. Clear? So let's have a quick recap on what we have learned so far. Plant tissues are of two types, meristematic tissue and permanent tissue. Meristematic tissue is of apical, intercalary, and secondary. Permanent is of simple and complex. Apical meristem based upon the location, root apical and shoot apical. Simple permanent into parenchyma, collenchyma, and sclerenchyma, whereas complex into xylem and phloem. Thus, we have taken a look at the entire steps and processes. I will just take a screen in order to just explain something. What are the terms that you must study over here? You must study about the function. Based upon the previous two classes, you have to study the function. You have to study the location. You have to study the speciality of the cell. The special feature. Okay, these are some of the important points you must study from everything, right from the apical meristem onwards to the phloem. Then you have to study about the components of xylem and phloem. You have to pay attention towards xylem, phloem, parenchyma, collenchyma, and sclerenchyma. You must pay attention. You must pay attention towards the terms proto and meta. Proto and meta. You must check out entarch and exarch condition. Entarch and exarch condition. Okay, so these are some of the points which were asked from the NEET MCQ level for the previous NEET exam. So this year in the upcoming years also we can expect the same. So that's all for today's class. On this morning class at 4 p.m. you will have the Mega Botany Test 01. So stay tuned for the Mega Botany Test. We will be doing 20 questions from the botany part of both class 11th and class 12, but I'll just give you an offer. We'll do with the class 11th of chapters today. Okay, till plant physio, we'll do all the 20 question mixed up questions. Clear? So at 8:30 p.m. you will see the class lecture on anatomy number 3. This was actually the class which were scheduled to be taken yesterday, but we have postponed it to today. So today's class will be at 8:30 p.m. today. So see you guys with yet another class. Bye bye guys. Don't forget to read the NCRT. This is only a one page only there in the NCRT with the xylem and phloem. So right now, just 30 minutes I have just completed today's topic. So just take 10 minutes, read out the NCRT right now, then only stand up from the place where you are sitting and do whatever work you have. Clear? Just read it right now. Just read it. If you have any doubt, just comment me in the Telegram. The Telegram link has been pasted in the description box as well as in the chat box. Bye bye guys. See you.